As a kid I enjoyed pewter casting, but I never cared much for the available models, mostly old-timey soldiers. So now I got myself some mold making silicone. Let's see what we can cast. This is me doing this for the first time, so please don't judge me too hard. Let's start with a Lego brick. I think this will look really good in metal. But I also think that these inside parts will be really hard to cast. So instead, let's make it solid, like it was made out of 3 flat pieces stuck together. But I don't want this side line to appear in the cast, and we still want the mold to be a 2-part one, so let's make the bottom out of the thin one, and the top part out of the thick one. So now it's been a few days and the molds have had time to cure. I had a little spill in this one. Luckily it was just a trickle and it solidified itself. But at this point I realized that I didn't use any mold release. So this might be tricky to get apart. So what have we learned? Well, Play-Doh wasn't the best thing to use as support material because it was a real hassle to clean out. And hot glue was a lot stronger than melamine, so maybe not use as much for these custom boxes, or maybe skip the custom boxes altogether. I need to do at least one more for the second part of this Lego piece. You see now that it fits snugly in the thing cast, so that should probably work. But single-use plastic container thing worked so much better, so that's the way we're gonna go forward with the new things we try to cast. While these two cool off, let's see what happens with the first one. Oh, this one should be something at least. And I think it is. But I need to be better at pouring into the letters. Interesting. Not as bad as expected, but that's a lot of air bubbles. And this one I did not dust with powder beforehand. I don't know if that might help. Yep, this one didn't have any powder either. But it is a bolt at least. So let's widen that pore hole. And give it a bigger chamber as well. So it has something to accumulate in. Yeah, here we see the same problem. Oh. Now this was actually a great success. I mean, look at that guy. That is definitely skeletal. So now let's see if this one went better. Well, no. Kinda better, at least. This one. Oh. I would definitely say that was a lot better. I mean, I would be fooled by that. It's some kind of weird coating on it, but that looks definitely like a bolt. Oh, this is so stupid. So what have we learned so far? Well, both the open cast and the two-part mold proved to be a bit more difficult than envisioned, but the skeleton head showed that just having the one piece suspended with the pouring hole gave a perfect result. So I'm gonna try to use this same method with another Lego brick, just one brick and one that's made out of 3 thin pieces to get a solid one, to see if that can work as well. I might have gotten a bit ahead of myself, so let's do a recap of the molds before we look at the final results. The two-part one was a real disaster, but that was just me not knowing what I was doing. The open ones didn't really work out as planned. I also tried to cut the back of one to make it a two-part one, but that didn't really help with the results. The cups were a mixed result, some good, some bad. I think it depended on what I was trying to cast. But the real winner was the pipe one. You can get it to any size you want, and it was really easy to open. So what about the results? Well, as I said, the open cast ones were a bit underwhelming, but I guess it was my logo that was too hard to cast. Speaking of logos, the Lego pieces didn't really turn out that good either. It took a lot of tries to get the pips on correctly. Mostly you just get these half-baked ones instead. And speaking of half-baked, the thin Lego pieces were really hard to get to fill out the form, so you get these funky half-meld, half-cast ones. They look kinda cool, but it wasn't really what I wanted. Something that did come out as I wanted was a skeleton head. As my kid put it, that mold was blessed because it came out almost perfect every time. The screw was also really good, so I used that mold making technique for the last of the silicone. It made a D20 die, 2 snail shells and an acorn. Those organic looks really work well in metal. So what's my final thoughts? Well, I really recommend using silicone molds if you want to make multiples of something, but a word of caution, you might get this funky look if you don't dust your molds the first time you use it. But maybe that's just what you're after. The good thing with pewter casting is that if you're not happy with the results, you can just melt it down and try again. Thank you very much for watching, have a nice, whatever you have it.